When I feel, I need, aka the W.I.N Statement or I Statement. A small but powerful little tool that helps us to start crafting and cultivating and developing healthier ways of expressing ourselves and having communications with other people. It's a great little skill that helps us to start respecting and finding our own voice and setting our own healthy boundaries with ourselves and others, while at the same time respecting the voice and the boundaries of others. Sego, welcome back to Holistic Wellness with Michelle, the space where when we share our knowledge together, our wisdom arises. Sometimes trying to have a simple, or maybe not so simple of a conversation with someone can be a challenge. So much so that I often observe in my regular CBT therapeutic work that I go through clusters of certain types of skills building. Over the last, 4 to 6 weeks, I've done a lot of assertive communication skills building with individuals, and in particular, I've introduced and helped them work through the W.I.N Statement. So I thought that actually would be a great video for us today, bringing this simple yet powerful little tool to you to help you start crafting and communicating in a different way, a healthier way to the people in your lives, whether it be personal or your professional life. Now, there's a couple of really important points I want to make and address before we get into the actual W.I.N Statement itself. That's going to be the heart of our video today. In a few minutes, we're going to literally craft and walk you through what one of those looks like. But before that, I've got a few, I want to say, more foundational points I want to make. I've got a little cheat sheet with me today. Sometimes the information I'm sharing with you flies right out of my head. I want to make sure that none of that happens for us today, because some of these points I think are really important for us to ponder, to step back and start looking at things in a different way. So here goes. Have you ever noticed sometimes when you're simply trying to express yourself that things just don't come out the right way? Or you are actually having a conversation with somebody, it's a rather challenging conversation, and the information becomes misunderstood or misinterpreted, and the person seems to take it very personally. Have you ever simply avoided a conversation because you have fears and concerns about how the other person is in fact going to respond to you? What I've observed in both my personal and professional life is that when we communicate with ourselves and with each other, we often tend to use language that tends to be more punitive and shame and blame and orientation, even when that's not our intent. So what tends to happen for us, for a lot of us in our old patterns, is this: we have a triggered event, and then our immediate emotional, verbal, and behavioral response is tagged right close to that event. There's no space for us to step back and actually start to stop and think and process the experience before we give our response. And when that happens, we tend to just say whatever comes out of our mouth. When that happens, we can't take that back. There's, that old saying, we can't take back once it's out there. So the W.I.N Statement actually helps us to start stepping back from that. As we're doing that, please be mindful, change is hard. It's hard for all of us, because when it comes to creating that gap and communicating differently, there's several important points. One, what we're trying to teach, what we're trying to help you to be through this channel in this video is a bit of a different filter system, so to speak. So when we're stepping back and creating a gap, we're giving ourselves time to think about what's going on in our head, how we're actually feeling. We're giving ourselves a breath break, a moment break. And when we do that, we analyze what's coming in, we analyze what's going on inside us, and then we assess the information before it comes back out. So not only are we trying to be more self-analysis filter systems, we're also trying to be mindful and acknowledge and take accountability for what we are going to say and how we're actually going to say it. Words are powerful, and it matters how we express them. A couple videos ago, we actually talked about that. What we say matters. It matters to us and it matters to others. The third important point is that as we're doing all that, we're also trying to reframe that old language and think about how we're going to express ourselves in a different way. There is a very big difference between the behavior we engage in and who we are, morally, virtues, values, etc. And here's an example. I might make a really unhealthy decision that leads to unhealthy behaviors. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person or a morally corrupt person. It just means that I've made probably a poor decision that's led to poor behaviors that is now leading to consequences I might not like or want to have. When that happens, when we use language to, say, give feedback or talk to people about those challenging moments in their lives, we tend to use, again, that language that is punitive or shame and blame and orientation. In other words, language that is not factual, that is more judgmental and opinionated in structure. And it can feel like the person on the other side, it can really feel like a personal attack or a moral attack. When I suspect, I not just suspect, but I've also observed, I don't think that that's what many of us try to do. I think ultimately what we're trying to do when we're trying to have those difficult conversations with people is we're trying to actually point out the behavior that they're engaging in that we find challenging or problematic. I just think that we struggle to bring it out in a healthy way. And so it turns into this almost headbutting type experience when I don't think that that's actually in the intent. The W.I.N Statement really helps us with that, because by the very structure, we're going to get into the exercise in a minute, and you're going to see the W.I.N Statement actually walks us through developing factual information that gets us to take ownership of our emotional response, and then setting up what is our boundary, what do we need in non-judgmental, non-shaming, blaming, not personal language that simply helps us in not just how we communicate with each other, but I have seen and I've witnessed that it actually creates a healthier relationship all around with ourselves and with our loved ones, for sure. So with those really important pieces in mind, and I think I only looked at my cheat sheets once or twice there, with that, those little really important, powerful points in mind, let's jump into our exercise and craft our W.I.N Statement. As you've seen in my other videos, this is actually going to come up on a slide, and I've deliberately put it in a slide. We're going to take a few minutes and walk through it, because what I'm really going to encourage you to do is, when you are practicing this skill, come back to this section in the video again and again. The slide's right there, your template's right there. There's no memorization. You don't need to worry about, am I doing this right? You're going to have that slide in front of you. Let's get into crafting our W.I.N Statement. So here we go, the W.I.N Statement. The W.I.N Statement I'm sharing with you today is a 3-step W.I.N Statement. You can go online. There are 4 steps. There are 5-step W.I.N Statements out there. There are statements from the psychology world. There are statements from the corporate, private world. I'm simply sharing with you the W.I.N Statement that I've used throughout my career. It's effective. It's short and sweet and to the point, and it really does help people look at how they express themselves in different ways. Step 1 is when you. This is going to be a brief, non-judgmental, non-blaming, factual description of the behavior that you are finding problematic or not okay or unacceptable. The second step is I feel. This step describes your feeling response to the individual's behavior. Now in the description section below, I will link an emotion wheel for you to help with your feeling response if you need to. The third step is I need you to, or I need us to. This is what you're expressing you need for healthy change, and it's also the boundary that you're trying to set with that individual. Here's an example. When you interrupt me to give me solutions while I'm talking to you about a problem, I feel unheard and disrespected. I need you to just listen and not jump in to try to fix the situation for me. When you're crafting your WIN statement and practicing with yourself and others, remember a few really key important points here. Start small. Take your time and craft and draft what you want to say. When you're having that conversation with someone, read right off your paper. It's not a test. If someone happens to ask, what are you reading there? You can simply say to them, I'm practicing different assertive communication skills and I want to make sure I remember my points. And that's why they're right beside me. I encourage always my clients to have that paper with them when they're practicing with others. Make sure that you try to convey the point as much as possible that this is about behavior. It's not a personal attack on the individual. Practice it, role play it. If you have challenging people, like, I don't know, a colleague, a boss, where you want to eventually work WIN statements with, but you're not ready to go there, work WIN statements with people that might be easier to talk to. Maybe a spouse or a sibling, for example, a friend that you can practice the WIN statements with. And another, I guess, final really important point is being mindful that when you are crafting different ways of communicating, like with your WIN statement, what we want or hope is that this starts to generalize to other areas of your life. And hopefully you will start to see a positive rippling change in not only yourself, but in the others around you as well. As you begin to navigate and express and develop and cultivate healthier ways of communicating, not only with yourself, but with others, please remember that change is hard. So be gentle and compassionate with yourself and with others as you do so. As we've worked through today's video, I'm mindful of the point, a little disclaimer, if you will, that I wanna put out before we end our video today. The wisdom and the knowledge and the information shared here in this video and on this channel at no point ever is to serve the purpose of replacing actual therapy. As you are moving through the things we talk about and share and express here, please, if you find yourself ever thinking or wondering, should I maybe actually talk to a professional? Should I seek actual therapy? I am 100% behind that, and I'm going to strongly encourage you to look into those types of professional therapeutic supports. Please research, seek out. There are some, depending on where you live in your local community, there will be great services and supports for you. But what has really, kind of come out in the last couple of years is online therapeutic supports have really taken off. And part of the work I do right now is online CBT. It's highly effective and really helpful to people who are struggling through various life circumstances. So online absolutely is a support as well for you. If you're, again, thinking that maybe you need to talk to somebody and do some therapeutic work for yourself. Always, always, always about taking care of you, starting to let go, understand and let go the things that no longer serve you in this time in your life. So if you like today's video, give us those thumbs up, please. Like us, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Please leave a comment in the sections below. Great little skill, WIN statement. Gonna get you right into that, and I'd love to hear your comments below about, hey, have you practiced it? How's it going? Are you finding success with it? If you're struggling with crafting it even after our video today, leave a comment and I can jump in and try to help you a little further with crafting those WIN statements. If you find anything in our video for today might be helpful for somebody else that you know, hey, the WIN statements might be helpful for this person or helpful for that person that I know, please share our video with those individuals and encourage them to engage and practice those WIN statements. I put a video out about once every 3 weeks. Working full-time job, I got a few other things on my plate, so 3 weeks is about all I can handle these days. So in about 3 weeks, look for another video after this. As always, meow yo, and thank you for tuning into our little video today. I really hope you liked the WIN statements, and I really hope you're able to craft them and find them helpful in your life. May you go always in a good way.